It for the week. Basically, what I'd like for you to take away from this is just simply the fact that we do have this monopoly with American medicine. It still stands today. I think that people have risen up to some degree, and we do have more acceptance of what they call CAM, alternative healing methods. Homeopathy is coming back, of course, nutrition, herbal medicine. Amazingly enough, the medical schools are actually teaching nutrition now, some of it. They're teaching some herbs. So they are getting on board, and this because they know they have to in order to stay competitive. I did want to mention one more thing. This is not the only one that happened, but just further proof of the extent of what the monopoly did to the alternative healing professions, including chiropractic. In the 80s, the Supreme Court ruled, and this was the language that they used, that the AMA willfully and intentionally conspired. Those are pretty strong words. Willful, intentional, and conspired to put chiropractic out of business. They had some pretty heavy hand slaps, you might call it. Just the fact that chiropractors were finally able to prove what they'd been saying all along, and that is that the AMA is trying to put me out of business, was a sense of relief to some degree. Of course, all that happened then was they went underground, and they still continued it and probably still do now. But at least we know that the Supreme Court could see through what they tried to do, and they've done this for all other, healing professions, healing modalities throughout the past century. So it was important for us to find that out, and it's important to have this knowledge. And as I said, to take it that as you are looking for, to help your family members, to help yourself, and then if you end up practicing in the future, and if you are a healthcare provider through alternative healthcare, you may want to remember that sometimes we need to clear out the false beliefs that we have related to the validity of the CAM, of alternative medicine procedures. And this dates back to this monopoly. So I've seen that there's sometimes things are embedded that are and need to be pulled out, need to be really, they go in layers. Sometimes you'll find yourself releasing them in layers. The other thing I wanted to mention, just so that you know, is that this same monopoly also controlled the money system, and they still do, and they also control the food system in America. They're still adding petroleum chemicals into our foods, and it's done for a reason. It's done not only so that they can make money off of the foods, but also so that they can harm us with their petrochemicals, and that we then will hopefully seek medications to treat the harm that was caused by the petrochemicals, and we'll use more petrochemicals. I mean, if you sit and ponder the craziness of it and realize how did we get duped into this? How did we get duped into creating a medical system that is based on petrochemical-based synthetic drugs, when God gave us all these amazing herbs and vitamins and other procedures that are inspired and that were inspired to a variety of practitioners? How did we get duped into using this synthetic junk? And we eat it every day. But that's just a whole nother story. We'll talk about it more in the future, the food part of it anyhow. I did want to add a little tidbit in here. Nestle, there's some countries that are suffering from famine and from a lot of the economy's fallen apart. And so there's not a lot of money to spend on foods and so forth. I know Brazil is one. And so Nestle, you would think that this is a great thing, right? They send in these little food carts to get to the places where, because people they don't have the money even to go to the grocery store. But Nestle said, hey, don't worry, we're coming to you. So we're thinking, they're going to be bringing bananas and peanuts and oranges and the healthy stuff, right? Well, no. More than 50% of what they sell is junk, pure junk. Obesity rates, even within this famine type situation where there's not enough money to buy, obesity rates have continued to climb. in this country, and it's all because of Nestle. And they do that and have done that all over the world at different times. You can look back where they sent nurses in to teach the mothers not to breastfeed and rather than use formula because they wanted to get people hooked on the formulas. I mean, I could go on and on, but I won't. So I hope you enjoyed the course. I hope you enjoy reviewing the materials. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll see you next week.